Hi everyone, and welcome to Chapter 10. In Chapter 10, we're going to talk about managing performance. So when we're looking at overall, we've really seen some changes in healthcare, and we've moved beyond that autocratic industrial era to the human resource era of today. So when we're looking at healthcare organizations, we really need to be responsive to what the needs are of that particular organization. So when we're looking at the organization, we want to make sure that we are managing and leading high performance work systems. And those work systems are actually established and guided through leadership and performance management. So what we're doing is we're actually looking at the overall organization and looking at our locus of control within that organization to be effective, to tick and tie with the mission and the vision and the goals of the organization. So that's a very valuable piece, one of those very important cogs in the system. And with that being said, looking at complexity science, we need to really understand how complexity science works for us to be effective in our leadership roles. So a true leader really needs to be accountable and look at new innovations and models of patient care delivery and look at the complex experience of healthcare, the complex experience of the patient experience, and the complexity of those care providers. So there are multiple levels that we need to consider when we're looking at our leadership practice. One particular practice is authentic leadership. And looking at authentic leadership, we're really focusing on what we do as leaders in looking at our own leadership practice and making sure that we're very self-aware of what we're made of and focusing on ethical conduct and balancing that decision-making process. So what we're doing is we're really doing that constant reflection and introspection of how we're doing, how that connects with our personal values and beliefs. And the thing to remember, one misnomer of authentic leadership is being just who you are, which it's focusing on your ethical makeup and values that you espouse, but you also need to be in tune to your own personal biases. And just because one may tend to be, and this is a very negative term, a loose cannon doesn't mean under authentic leadership that you can be a loose cannon. It's important that you understand that you're a loose cannon and keep that in check so that you can be effective in your leadership role. So I hope that helps a little bit because there's kind of a misnomer with authentic leadership. So the premise of authentic leadership is being very true to the organization and their values and beliefs and your own personal values and beliefs so that you provide consistent leadership that the staff that you serve actually know you, understand you, and there aren't those surprises or unforeseen issues that arise. There's that consistency because you base your practice on who you are and the organization. In addition, with that being said, if your personal values and beliefs actually conflict with where you serve, that's something to do, again, some very valuable introspection and see if that's a good fit for you. And very often we don't take that time to really look at if we truly fit with the organization that we serve. So that's another component to think about as well. So as we're looking at then moving to leadership development, development occurs over the duration of one's career. So it's really important to continue with education and opportunities to expand and grow. And in actuality, each and every experience with a person or system or process is an opportunity to learn and grow because you can reflect on that situation thinking about what has worked, what hasn't worked, how you would do things differently. So that constant introspection is extremely valuable valuable, as well as looking at the perspective in a very broad way and looking how your independent decisions affect others. So again, it's an ongoing process, and focusing on opportunities to grow are invaluable. And of course, McKendree has a DNP program, so that's an opportunity to continue your education as well. Moving on to succession planning, which is covered in your textbook as well. Make sure that you take a look at succession planning, and very often this succession planning isn't practiced very consistently, and it's really important to actually empower and mentor those to gain skills to be effective as leaders. And in actuality, each and every nurse is a leader, and it doesn't matter if one has that role or not. As a leader having that role, it's important to nurture those leadership skills that you see in those that you serve. So always keep that in mind, and you'll develop very strong relationships with the people that you serve as well. So in addition, it's important to look at the different types of folks that are within the population of employees that you serve. So really understanding those generational differences are very important. And the thing too, we all often, because of our own personal biases and how we see the world, we may judge a different generation, when in actuality there's strengths in each and every generation. And as a leader, it's extremely crucial to engage those particular strengths and help the staff, help those that you serve to work together as a team and recognize that each and every generation has strengths and really maximize those strengths rather than focusing on how other folks are different. And that it's the same premise as patient care. We really need to be in tune into those particular individuals and what makes them, and really engage in those strengths. So in addition, the text goes into those crucial conversations, and those tend to be the stumbling block for many folks. And it's important to also think about those crucial conversations, not necessarily as a very negative situation, but think of those as opportunities to really engage with those that you serve and truly understand where they're coming from, and help, again, tying into the mentoring piece, to help them to nurture and grow. And that's what it's all about as a leader, is helping those that you serve to grow and expand within their roles. And again, that ties in with mentorship and succession planning, and helping them to be prepared as opportunities do become revealed to them also. So with that being said, there are a number of different performance improvement structure dashboards, outcome reports, and again, these are valuable tools as you are managing performance to really look at the data. And actually, in our world, there are tons and tons of data, and knowing what is the most valuable data is very important, because we can be overloaded with information. So with that, I want to also engage with something that you may have covered as you were doing informatics as well. It's not just the data that you want to look at. You want to look at it, you really want to go across that continuum, and you want to look at it as information and tie in knowledge, and with your expertise in your area of practice, really take that data, look at practice, and develop that wisdom that's so important to know why those numbers are the way that they are, and really understanding the why behind the numbers. Because if we take numbers at face value, it really doesn't tell us the whole picture. So again, as leaders, it's very important to move beyond just the objective numbers, but really understand what is going on in your area of practice, to really have that wisdom to examine those numbers in the context of care delivery or unit functions or organizational functions. So if you have any questions about Chapter 10, let me know, but I'm looking forward to our discussions. Take care now.